Estes erron con computers.com. Otro video para ti hoy. I'm gonna remember this time. Dislike, don't comment, don't subscribe. Remember, dislike, don't comment, don't subscribe. So the Raspberry Pi Foundation has released their latest and greatest product. It's the Compute 3 Plus. I've never fucked with Raspberry Pi, but I just might. Maybe I'll ask for donations, but I'm so surly and nasty and negative that I doubt anybody would, you know what I'm saying, donate so I could buy one. But the board, the system board is only like what, $25 for the lowest price, and then I'll get to that towards the end of this video. So it's the Compute 3 Plus, right? And I will show it to you directly from the source, directly from raspberrypi.org. You can go there yourself, and maybe I'll move the web browser here so that I can read easier, but let me make sure that, ooh, that doesn't look the same. Does it look? That doesn't look the same. We'll move it back. Okay, well, I need to replace this monitor. I've got two monitors here, and I'm using the hotel's LCD television. So anyways, so for now this will have to work, or I could stand up, but then I'd have to get a condenser mic stand and a camera stand, 2-in-1. I don't want to have to get two of them. Compute Model 3 Plus on sale now from $25. That's only for the board itself. I am pretty sure you have to buy a separate power supply, and then you're going to have to purchase a separate SD card. Now, you might be able to scavenge a power supply that you might have existing, and an SD card, at least I would say 8 gigabytes from my understanding. So this is the Raspberry Pi 3 Plus, CM3 Plus. They did release a 3B, or I don't know, or a different one that, what, 2 years ago or something like that? I don't know. So this is the newest version of our board. It's 10 times the ARM performance, which is a type of a processor. What else? Twice the RAM capacity. 8 times the flash capacity. And then, okay, so yeah, this was the predecessor. Was the Compute, well, that was 2014. I'm thinking of the model, the CM3. That's what I was thinking of. So that was what, a few years ago now. Okay, so they've improved the RAM capacity, the flash capacity, and it is a little bit faster. It's a quad core though. Now this was the one previous to this, so let's skip down to this one. Here's the memory. Don't you just love the memory and the card, and it just looks beautiful, doesn't it? The microprocessor, or whatever this. The compute module has evolved. Okay, well, all right. It's designed for enterprise use, so that tells me that businesses, I would even think corporations, a lot of times, well, in America at least, when that word enterprise is used, it refers to corporations and government and military. So let's get down to the specifications here. So here's the board itself, CM3 Plus. It does support two. You can connect two video. I think it has 2 video connections on it. Some of these have an Ethernet port, and let's see. Okay, here's some of the specifications. It's limited because of the power supply, but the maximum processor speed is 1.2 gigahertz compared to 1.4 gigahertz. Oh, it was the 3B plus that I was thinking of. The 3B Plus runs at 1.4 gigahertz. This one runs at 1.2 gigahertz. The CM3s do. It's a CM3 board. It's got the Broadcom processor. And what else? It comes with what, 4 gigs of flash memory? So this is the cheapest one, is the CM3 Plus Lite. It's $25. I think it comes with 4 gigs, 4 gigabyte. The CM3 Plus has 8 gigabytes, and as you can see, they have different ones, but it's just the memory. So it looks like every 8 gigabytes is about will cost you $5 more. Yes, with CM3 Plus we are making available 3 different eMMC flash sizes. Now, so that's the flash memory. This board, it's a computer board. It's a computer, I think it's the size of a credit card. So I'm not gonna, show you a real credit card, but what would be the size of a credit card? I don't want to show anything. Hopefully that. But this is the size of a credit card. So the board is this large, from my understanding. I've never fucked with one, but I did take the time to study and, go over the schematics and the specifications and try to learn. It runs Linux, so I'm a big fan of that. Now, I'll get to the end about how you're going to have to get an SD card, you're going to have to get a power supply, and then it doesn't come with a case. That's going to cost extra. So just off the top of my head, I said you could probably build one less than $100. Now, so it's got flash memory. It also has standard random access memory, but I think even this one, I could be wrong, but I think this new one is limited to 1 gigabyte. And then the processor is limited to 1.2 gigahertz. So those are some limitations, but Linux is a lot more friendly when it comes to, resources, but still you're limited by the random access memory, and you're going to be limited by the processor itself. It's a new product. It was just released recently, I think maybe today. Now it's going to need the recent version of the Raspberry Pi firmware and operating systems such as Raspbian. Raspbian, I think, I could be wrong, but it says Rasp and then Bian. Well, Debian. So I think it's Debian based. It is Linux. I just haven't fucked with Raspberry Pi. But I'm thinking of building a little computer, and then I'm even thinking, now these are enterprise, and so they're business purposes, and also I think they encourage people to build them, install the operating system, and I think you can resell them. I don't think they have I could be wrong about all this, but it sounds like that they don't really have a problem with you buying them. I don't know how many at a time. I don't know if they have volume prices. I just don't know all that. And then build them and then sell them to your customers. So, which I think there could be a niche for that. I think there is. I don't know if there's a demand, but definitely I think I've thought about that before, is selling, pre-built computers with, gigabyte motherboards, not standard computers, not like Dell, IBM, Lenovo, Sony, Toshiba, Hewlett Packard. No, you build the computer with brand new components. You load the operating system, which will be Linux. I'm talking about Linux. These are Linux friendly because the Raspbian operating system is Linux based. So the thermals, that's about with the heat. I'm not 20 Celsius to 70 Celsius. It's got a development kit. And the one thing I'm a little bit curious is, is it a quad core? Let's see if I can, it did mention The CM3, based on the core BCM, let's see if it's got the same processor. I think that's the same one. It may be a quad core actually. Let's see if that'll... I was a little bit confused. Let's see if I think it probably is. So it could be a quad core. I'm thinking it probably is. Let's see, we can also search for a quad. That shows up there. Okay, it's probably a quad core. So that's a multi-core, but it runs at, I think, 1.2 gigahertz. Now, the onboard RAM, I think, is limited, I think, with all of their boards, 1 gig. And then the SD card. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to load the operating system on an SD card. And those are just little, tiny little memory modules if you're not, you know, my rice is cooking. If you're not understanding what the term is, SD, micro SD, those are the tiny little chips that you can put in Androids and I think iPhones. They're very small. But the sizes, I'm not sure, probably. Again, I'm a computer technician, I'm a repair technician. I don't have time to sit here and, you know everything about the latest and greatest gadget. If you're offended by that, fuck you. Don't comment, don't like this video, and don't subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll read a few comments and then I think I'm going to take off. I'm already at the 11-minute mark. I try to keep these videos under 20 minutes now, I think. And so it does go over the specs, and it does have, I think, it does have 2 video outputs. Oh, it'll be available until January 2026. Some of their existing equipment will be available until 2023. Great news, awesome. Now the housekeeping's done and everything's been updated to the latest chipset. Blah, blah, blah. And then this clown chimes in, well, not everything. Alright, the reseller links didn't work. I was like, well, you know. Alright. Yes, right here. Does it have 1 gigabyte of random access memory or 2 gigabytes of random access memory? I think that is very unclear. Yes. So in my opinion, this blog post is very unclear. I was confused. I'm still confused. Is it a quad core? How much random access memory? You know, how much? What size of SD card does it support? What about the flash memory? Blah, blah. What, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm assuming, is it DIMM3? Blah, blah. What does it, speeds does it run at? Is it upgradable? I don't think most of these are, as far as RAM, are upgradable. I think the flash are, I think, but you're limited to 1 gigabyte. All Pis to date, including this one, as it specifies the BCM28370B, are limited by the VC4 portion of the chip to 1 gigabyte. So you're limited to 1 gigabyte of random access memory. Yep, so that's the maximum that will support. Yeah, people want to install the Windows 10 Internet of Things, and I looked briefly. People are trying to install Windows 10, what other operating systems? Like I think even older versions. Oh, Wine. If you're not familiar with Wine, I'm not talking about alcohol. No, it's an acronym, and it allows you to run Windows programs inside of Linux. I've tried Wine once. Didn't like it. I think there's better options, but man, maybe it's been years. Probably. Anyway, I don't want to digress about Wine. But quickly about Wine. I don't want to talk too much about Wine, but Wine just allows you to run Windows applications on Linux. It's an emulator. I think it's technically an emulator. Well, so people are wanting to run the Microsoft software on the Pi, and it's like, why, motherfuckers? It's designed for Linux. I mean, so you got a decent little hardware device that's maybe not that expensive, but you can put it to good use. And what do you want to do? You want to fucking trash it and blow it up and destroy it by running microcrap, microship, microslop Windows products? I don't get it, but whatever. I think some people have been able to get it to work, but yeah. Let's look up that. Let's try to find more specifications about this. So let me transition, because I don't want to, accidentally show you something that. So let me. What I'm going to do is this was their blog post. This was like their, press release, blog post, if you want to, call it that. I don't know if it, again, language. This is just like a blog post about their compute module 3 plus, the CM3 plus. But I want to find the specifications for it, because I'm still a little bit confused. And you can call me a dumbass, you can call me nasty names, I don't give a fuck. I'm a computer technician, I'm a repair technician. Most of my day is spent helping mentally insane, mental midget computer users. I don't necessarily have the time to learn all this shit, or it's a lot of days I don't even give a fuck. But I am curious. I would like to know the specifications. Like if I do buy one, and I will let you know, I want to know everything about it, because that's just how I roll, man. Here we go. Is this it? Oh, I think, okay. Yeah, okay, here we go. Here's our sales page. So I will screen capture that. I don't get any royalties from Raspberry Pi Foundation. It's a foundation that tells me that they probably don't have an affiliate program. If they do, I'll sign up after I build one of these and try it out. I would say, just off the top of my head, if it's 25, okay, let's talk about that. Since I'm looking at the hardware specifications, let's quickly talk about that. When I looked into those prices, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, notice how they increased based upon the size of the flash memory, not the random access memory. There's a difference. And you know what I'm saying? The cheapest is the Lite with 4 gigabytes of flash, which is probably what I would buy. I would buy the entry level. It's going to have a gig, and then I think I might have a spare SD card. If not, they're not that expensive. Now, I don't know what the board, I don't know what the largest SD card this board will support, but it's good to know that, because you don't want to buy an SD card that it won't support, or that it will, let's say, as an example, you buy one that's 128 gig, but the board only supports 64. It may still be able to use it, but it may not be able to use all of it, or it just may not be able to use it. I hate wasting time, and I hate wasting money, since I'm not a prototypical YouTube technology shill that has 30 different Amazon affiliate links in the description box of their videos, or you go to their website, or you go to my website, and you got it's just like advertisements everywhere, and it's like banners flashing, buy this, buy this, buy that, buy that, buy that, buy this. But so you're going to have to spend money on a case. I don't think it would be a very good idea just to have the little Raspberry Pi CM3 Plus just sitting there buck naked, especially with these perverted Americans. You know what I'm saying? I think you want a case. Now, I think Raspberry Foundation, they have cases that you can buy from them, but I just don't know what the price is yet. I didn't look yet, but I will. But I'm assuming maybe there's some third-party providers that you might be able to build your own, or you might be able to find something that, again, these are very small system boards. But that's all. The $25 is the price for the system board. You're going to have to spend more for the case. Then you're going to have to spend more money for the SD card. Then the power supply, it doesn't include the power supply. I don't think even this one, I could be wrong, but I don't think it includes the power supply. That's an additional price. So it's more than just $25. Compute Module 3. The Compute Module 3 is a Raspberry Pi 3 in a more flexible form factor intended for industrial application. Business, government, military, whatever, you know, it sounds like business to me where, yeah, I could, you know, start building people Linux systems out of Raspberry hardware, and I could just maybe upsell, or I could just, increase the price and make a nice little profit, or I don't know. That's what I was thinking. Buy now. Now they do have resellers, and here's some quick photos. And okay, okay, that was exciting. That was really exciting, very exciting. Okay, let's stop. Now, specifications quickly. I'm at the 21-minute. Wow, time flies, man. Okay, so let's get to the nitty-gritty here. It's got the SD card interface. Single units. Oh, look at that. It says the compute module is available for purchase in single units, means one, batches of hundreds or thousands. So yeah, multi-volume. I don't know if they give you a discount if you buy them in hundreds or thousands, but maybe they do, or maybe they don't. I don't know. But that sounds. I hear that and I'm thinking resell. Okay. What else? Okay, here we go. It's got the BCM2837 processor, 1 gig of RAM. It's limited to 1 gig of RAM. You can't upgrade it. Yeah, it's probably soldered into the motherboard, or you can't you can't upgrade these. I don't think any of them you can. I'm talking about the random access memory. It's got a 4 gigabyte eMMC flash memory device, which is the equivalent of the SD card in the Pi. Those are upgradable, but they cost more. What is it, $5 per 8 gigabytes? Let me check my rice. I think it's almost done. I don't want to burn the rice. You know what I'm saying? I'll be right back. You better not be burning my rice, Aaron. Goddamn bitch, boy. And when you're done, I want you to mow the lawn. When you're done cooking me dinner, Aaron. Perfect timing. Whenever the rice starts crackling, I know it's almost done. I'll just let it. I covered it, and I'll let it cook off, and it'll be nice brown rice. Brown rice. I don't eat white rice, unless I absolutely have to. It runs at 1.2 gigahertz. We already went over that. Oh, it is a quad core, so I was correct. Very important. Specifications to me are very important. I want to know them all, and so I don't fuck anything up, and so that I'm getting what I think I'm getting, because there's a big difference between single core, dual core, and even quad core. So it's a quad core. It's a small board. It's DDR2, so it's not DDR3, which fits into a standard DDR2 connector. The same type of connector is used for laptop memory. The flash memory is connected directly to the processor on the board, but the remaining processor interfaces are available to the user via the connector pins. Okay, anything else? Okay, a light version. That's probably what I'll end up getting if I do get one, unless you want to donate, and so I can get the Corvette, or whatever. Car companies, American car companies, give me a fucking break, man. Well, I don't know. I've got an old Chevy vehicle, and that motherfucker it's ugly, but that fucker is very reliable. I think it's the engine. That engine has, believe it or not, that motherfucker has over 200,000 miles, and that bitch cranks over every time. It doesn't have the greatest power, but I drove it over 450 miles, and for the type of vehicle and the type of motor and the size of the vehicle and the weight, it actually got some fucking pretty good fucking gas mileage on the highway, but I kept it to 55 miles per hour because I've studied. Anyways, back to the Raspberry Pi. Anything else? Getting started. They got a video there, notices. Okay, so that, I would prefer more specifications than that, but that's a lot. That to me is sufficient enough. I'm just a specifications connoisseur, and the more the better, the more the merrier. But they do have some. To me it's important because you need to know what you've got. So quad core, 1 gig, yeah, Linux. Firewall. I'm thinking firewall. You can surf the internet, but a gig, a lot of web browsers, even on Linux, they eat up memory like these Americans eat food, just stuffing their big fat faces with garbage. Just, web browsers are just memory hogs. They just, like Boss Hog from the Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, do you know that pigs are cleaner than Americans? I mean, all right, I gotta stop. I'm sure you already quit watching my video because of my nasty comments, but whatever, I don't give a fuck. I think that's about it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's about it. I still need to study Raspberry Pi again. I'm a computer repair technician. I just finished my shift. I'm self-employed, so I can really work whenever I want, but you know what I'm saying? I work every day, 6 to 8 hours now, so I can pay for the goddamn hotel and food and and then if I want a Raspberry Pi, because you can run. Did you hear that? Some motherfucker just ran, and it wasn't a child. No, I don't think that was a child. I could be wrong, but no, I don't mind if children. No, I really don't. If children run, usually they giggle and and they squeal and they run and they're yelling. I don't mind children running, but if you're an adult, if you're over like 20 and you're running, you just got on my enemies list, because these motherfucking walkways are made out of wood, and these motherfuckers, number one, these motherfuckers, when they built this hotel, they were too cheap to just make it out of proverbial cement and steel, and motherfuckers made it out of wood. And if you walk on it a certain way, or if you're a hard walker or a runner, then I'm hoping that is a child. If it's anybody 20 or older, okay. Raspberry Pi. So that's the Raspberry Pi Compute Module 3, and it's already available for sale. But it's the basics, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's quickly end on that. So from my understanding, my understanding is that I need replacement monitor because it's driving me nuts. Okay, so I know I don't work, I don't get money from Micro Center, but I know that's one of the resellers. When I went to look and click on buy now, there was 6, and most of them I never heard of, but I did hear of Micro Center. Now, Raspberry Pi Foundation is based out of the United Kingdom, so that might be part of it. In America, the only brand I recognized was Micro Center. I just traveled to the city, and I'm not telling anybody what city in America I live in, and I don't even know if there's a Micro Center. But tonight I'm going to probably look it up and see if there's one. I'm hoping there is. In Denver, Colorado, where I was just at recently, there was one Micro Center, way the fuck on the other side of town in the Denver Technology Center. If you're familiar with Denver, Colorado, way overly priced. A lot of racist, pale-skinned Europeans, just very overpriced, very expensive city. If you can get a job, even in information technology, you can make a decent living. But if you can't, the hotels, the motels, the apartments, the houses are just bloated, run down, just overpriced garbage. I mean, so the Denver Tech Center, but I would travel to the Micro Center if I ever had to. The Best Buy and the CompUSA, that's been like a decade at least since those there is still Best Buys, but anyway, so in this city, hopefully there is a Micro Center. So I don't even, do they have an online store? When you click on buy now, it shows you resellers. It's like, well, I can't buy it directly from you, even over the internet? Okay, so those prices are just for the system board, which I guess is the size of a credit card, very small. Well, you're gonna have a case to put it inside to protect. Then you're gonna have to get an SD card. And then what else? You're gonna have to get a keyboard and a mouse. You have to connect a USB keyboard and a USB mouse when you first get it. So you put it together, and then you're gonna have to have an SD card, I think, and then I think that's the hard drive. You know what I'm saying? I think, although that one's got the MMC, the EMCC, which is more flash type. That might be the hard drive, because it does say it's. See, I'm still a little bit confused. So I don't want to fuck shit up. I think you either use the flash device that comes with it, or you get an SD card, which are kind of similar. But they're not the same though. So this is where you need to understand computers, and you don't want to order the wrong crap, because I hate doing that. That will be the hard drive. It's so small that obviously you're going to have to use some kind of flash storage for the hard drive. Now the operating system Raspbian, it's Linux based, so I'm familiar with Linux. You're going to have to know Linux. Well, you're going to have to download the newest version for this hardware, because I don't think, from my understanding, some of the older versions will not support this hardware. I don't know about third-party Linux distributions yet, because this is so new. You know, can you find a version of Fedora or Ubuntu or SUSE, or, you know, can you? Or Mint Linux? Will it support this? So that's one thing that I when I build it, if I do get it, I'm gonna have to take into consideration. The motherfuckers are like, it's always at night. It's always around dinner time when the goddamn drug addicts, I mean these goddamn fucking Americans, just start fucking acting up, acting a fool, just whatever. Anything else? Now, once you hook up a keyboard and a mouse, it has to be USB. It's got USB ports. Some of them have an Ethernet port, but I didn't read anywhere in those specifications if it has an Ethernet port. Well, what about the internet? Now, some of these devices do have an Ethernet port, I think, on the board. I think this might be one, but I didn't read it in the specifications. So now some of these have you can get a dongle. I think a USB Ethernet port dongle to connect to the internet, or some of them have an Ethernet port. I don't think they have a wireless chipset on them. I don't think so. I didn't read that anywhere. Anything else? So basically, once you get the Linux booted up on either the SD card or the flash memory, then you can use Bluetooth. This does support Bluetooth, but you have to install the operating system first. Out of the box, it doesn't support Bluetooth. Anything else that I found out. So you can use your own keyboard and mouse. So you're gonna have to have a case. So you're gonna have to get a case, and then hooking it up to a monitor. It's got a onboard HDMI out. Believe it or not. So you can hook it up to an HDMI computer monitor, or like what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at a, I don't know what that's, 40 inch. That's a nice, it's a Philips. It's actually a nice LCD television, but it's got HDMI out. And I hook it up to my computer. I don't even watch TV. I hate television. The hotel provides it, so why not use it? So I could hook up the Raspberry Pi to the hotel's LCD television because it has HDMI. And it also, if you've got a DVI monitor, or which is older school, the white connection, the white cables, or the blue VGA connector and cables, which is older school, you can get adapters. You could get HDMI to DVI or HDMI to VGA. Anything else that I off the top of my head. So you're gonna need some items before you get. It's not like you pay the $25 for the light version and you get a little tiny computer in a little box, and then it's already got the operating system. Now you're gonna have to do all that, but there is, I think, from either the resellers or Raspberry Pi. I don't know if you can buy shit from Raspberry Pi directly. I just don't know. I know I'm behind on the times. I'm a repair tech. I mean, give me a fucking break. They have resellers, but I think you can buy either SD card or the flash memory with the operating system already pre-installed for you. But I know Linux. I'm gonna try to. I want to know, and I like it. It's fun. Yeah, I can make videos. I could even live stream if I ever get decent internet. But I definitely, if I buy this unit, I'm gonna price it out, and I think if I can get it down as low as possible, I'll start out with the light version. That's only $25. I'm not sure how much the little cases are. And then the power supply, that's another price. So that's 2 more items. And what else would I need? It's got the flash hard drive. I had the 4 gigs for, that's where, yeah. But then you can also use an SD card, I think, as the hard drive. So you can, yeah. What was the light? I think light came with only 4 gigs, man. Yeah, see? Oof. Now my tablet, I need to still make a video. That tablet has 64 gigabytes of hard disk space. And even that's like, it runs Windows 10, but ooh. So this video is already way longer than I thought it would be. But anything else? Yeah, if I can keep it as low, under $100 as possible, I would love 50. If I can do 50, I'll get it. And then I will make a video, and I will make videos showing, the entire thing. Oh, that's how I roll. I'll get the parts, because I love Linux. If this was based off of Windows, I might not be making this video. I'll be blunt and honest. I might, but I would just trash that. But this supports Linux, and it does support other Linux distributions. You'd have to do some research, and you'd have to find out which distributions support that processor. It's not Intel, it's not AMD, so that's a different type of a processor, you know what I'm saying? But it does support, I'm pretty sure these Raspberry Pi support other Linux distributions, pretty sure. And I think they would be great for like a firewall, a Linux firewall. And anyways, I'm rambling on. Though that's my plan. I don't know when I'm going to get around. I have to price the parts, and you know what I'm saying. So, but at the very least, I made a video about the new Compute 3 Plus, the Compute Module 3 Plus from. We can just show you. Yeah, we can just leave on that. You know what I'm saying? Adios. Remember, dislike, don't comment, and don't subscribe. Oh man.